Welcome to Quick Baritone Sax Tips. My name is BJ Jansen. I just wanted to introduce you today to some quick tips around refinishing and revitalizing your hard rubber mouthpiece. So again, this will not work with those new plastic mouthpieces that are 3D printed, as you will melt them. And it will not work with the other different polymer mouthpieces, but this will work with genuine hard rubber mouthpieces. So one of the things that you'll notice with hard rubber mouthpieces is genuine hard rubber tends to oxidize. So it will actually turn this crazy green color over time. So some of the things you want to be careful of when you're working with hard rubber mouthpieces is when you're cleaning it, use cold water or lukewarm water, room temperature water, because since it's hard rubber, it will warp the table and it will warp the mouthpiece. It was also, if you use certain chemicals on it, it will increase the oxidation and cause the mouthpiece to oxidize faster, turning this crazy green color. One of the things that you can do is remove a little bit of that oxidation off of your mouthpiece with ultra fine steel wool. So you can just take steel wool, rub it on there, and you're actually going to start removing some of the layer of oxidation. So you are removing material, so be very careful. But you can actually remove some of that and remove some of that ugly green oxidation. The other thing to keep in mind is if your ligature, say I have this ligature here from Francois Louis, is making some indentions, and they're a little hard to see, but they're little lines. And what it is the pressure from the ligature is actually pressing in, or you have a bite mark that's pressing in. And this is different than a chip. So this is not a actual chip in the rubber. This is actually where the rubber is getting compressed. What you can do is take a lighter, kind of like this, and you can apply lightly, and you want to avoid the table and the rails. So you want to avoid this area. Although if you're able to reface, or you have files, you can reface that after repairing, but be really super careful. And you can just hit that with a little bit of heat, and what that will do is actually cause those lines to press back out. So you want to be very careful, but as you can see, some of those lines where they've been pressed in will actually come back out with some quick heat. You don't want to put too much heat. You don't want to burn the rubber. You don't want to melt the rubber or overheat it. But this also works for some dips, chips, and whatnot. And then you can hit that area with some steel wool and start to break off some of that oxidation. The final thing you could do is get a glass plate, so you have an ultra flat surface to work from. And actually what you're going to do is lay, and this is 3000 grit sandpaper, and after you've done this, just to make sure that your table of your mouthpiece is totally flat, slightly put it on there, drag it across a couple of times, and it will actually take out some of the high spots in the table and will help even that table out and make it ultra smooth, so you can get that good seal. Again, I wouldn't recommend doing any of this stuff unless you're very confident or in what you're doing, and know what you're doing or can afford to mess up. So again, applying a little bit of heat on those pressed in areas, you can actually reinvigorate the rubber, make it press out, and get those indentions out. You can hit it with steel wool, take some of that oxidation out. And then another thing would be to grab some white vinegar and water solution. You can actually soak the mouthpiece in that to break up some of the calcium deposits that may form from your saliva. And then finally, when applying the patch, if you're going to apply a bite patch, you could utilize some rubbing alcohol to degrease that and make sure. But I wouldn't use too much alcohol because the alcohol will also erode the hard rubber. Okay, hopefully some of these quick tips will help you out with revitalizing and extending the service life of your hard rubber mouthpieces. Again, my name is BJ Jansen, and thank you so much for joining me today on Quick Baritone Sax Tips, and have a great day.